Welcome to the AIP channel where anything is possible. Well, we'll talk about anything and everything your heart's desire. Tonight, we have an interesting story of declassified information that you can go look up yourself if you want to. There's very few stories out there, a few articles out there. One on popular mechanics won't be subscribed to, but it wasn't that serious. There's plenty of other stuff I could read for it. What we're talking about tonight is Project Stargate. Project Stargate was when the CIA, one of them good old alphabet groups, tried to harness psychic energy against the Soviets. You know, you hear the name Project Stargate sounds something like out of this world. And it kind of is. Though it don't refer to wormholes or the exploration of other planets, but instead the CIA funded program was focused on psychokinetics and extrasensory perception, ESP for short, which make it a little easier to say. They had a $20 million budget for Stargate, and they had several series of programs with code names like Grill Flame and Sun Street. The U.S. government was training an army of telepaths. At least that's what they're trying to do. The CIA believed the Soviets were looking into harnessing ESP for their espionage efforts. Project Stargate was a multi-million-dollar program launched by the CIA at the height of the Cold War to try and get ahead of the Soviet Union on powers of the mind. It was a result of rumors about the Soviets that were swirling around in the 70s. The CIA believed the USSR was spending about 60 million rubles annually on ESP. I'm about to say ESPN. You're probably going to hear me say it before the end of the night. Yeah, they were spending 60 million rubles annually on ESP and mind reading projects to aid its espionage efforts. It's unclear whether or not the Soviet Union was actually working on the ESP projects, but it's clear, however, is that the CIA believed the country was and moved to create its own American version. So whatever the Russians doing, by God, we're going to do it first, and we're going to do it. We're going to get to the moon first. We're going to use the ESP to see what they're doing, each other's doing. Project Stargate explored reading other people's thoughts, telepathy, predicting the future, and ability to view a place or time remotely without actually being there. While this might seem silly today, it's important to remember the context of the time. In the United States and Soviet Union, one thing was clear: if one country was trying something new, the other tended to follow suit to make sure they didn't fall behind on technological innovations. Thus, in 1972, the CIA approved funding for a program known as Scanate, 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 maybe. It's probably an acronym for many things. Government-funded research on mind control was officially underway. One of the people there was Uri Geller, was one of the individuals experimented on during the Project Stargate. Remote viewing research and testing quickly got underway in 1972 at the Stanford Research Institute, the SRI, at California's Menlo Park. Parapsychologists Russell Tang and Harold Butoff began testing people they deemed gifted individuals and psychics. One of the best-known individuals examined at this first phase of Project Stargate was a celebrity psychic, Uri Geller, known for his ability to bend spoons. The CIA recruited him because of his purported psychic abilities. And for 8 days in August of 1973, Geller was locked in a room while the officials performed various experiments on him to test his supernatural abilities. The tests measured Geller's ability to see hidden drawings while buried metal and bend spoons with his mind. As a result of his success during this period, the CIA concluded Geller had demonstrated his paranormal perceptual ability in a convincing and ambiguous words are hard manner. The apparent success of the experiments performed on Uri Geller's garnered interest from the Department of Defense. However, after the initial tests by the CIA, the University of Oregon psychology professor Ray Hyman was asked to visit the Stanford Research Institute and personally evaluate the purported psychic. After meeting with and evaluating him, Hyman concluded Geller was a fraud. He easily spotted loopholes and inconsistencies in Geller's acts that Russell Tang and Harold Pudoff had apparently missed. But for nearly 20 years, beginning in the 70s, a secret army unit working in conjunction with the Defense Intelligence Agency conducted research and experiments which they attempted to test the existence and application of so-called psychoenergetics for use in military operations. And it's all a matter of public record. So you can, like I said, you can look all this up. If you don't believe it, like I said, it does sound crazy. They did make a movie about it, Man Who Talked to Goats. Had George Clooney in there. So it was, I think it was loosely based on it. In the late 70s, the CIA shut down its work on ESP, and program Stargate was moved from California to Fort Meade, Maryland. While initial trials in the 70s weren't necessarily promising and totally inconsistent, the initiative continued to receive funding from the U.S. Congress. In 1979, during a discussion of remote viewing in the House of Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, Representative Charlie Rose stated that the program seemed like a hell of a cheap radar system. And then if the Russians have it and we don't, we're in serious trouble. As I said, you could turn around and, like part of that remote viewing is, they can tap into the certain rooms and stuff. And there's guys that remote view now, certain places they don't try to look because they don't want to get in trouble, or certain things might go wrong if they do. But there's still remote viewers running around here. They say the most successful case within Project Stargate was one that occurred during Operation Grill Flame, when a young woman named Rosemary Smith tried to locate a Soviet aircraft that had crashed in the Democratic Republic of Congo, then Zaire. Smith was provided with a map and marked a very specific spot where she perceived the aircraft might have gone down. Map technicians then converted her notations in geographic coordinates, which were sent to the CIA station chief in Zaire. 2 days later, the Soviet aircraft was discovered where Smith said it would be, allowing the agency to extract the valuable enemy technology. Pretty neat, pretty impressive. Was she lucky? Did she actually see it? I mean, something had to be going on there for her to actually be able to do it. The program continued to recruit remote viewers after the success with Rosemary Smith. One noble recruit was U.S. Army veteran Joseph McMoneagle, who became known as Remote Viewer Number 1. McMoneagle worked with Project Stargate from 78 to 84 and was involved in 450 missions. He specialized in near-death experiences, out-of-body travel, UFOs. He said a typical day of work meant being presented with envelopes and being asked to supply information about whatever was inside. And so what it's saying there, I've seen documentaries and stuff on this, so you get a big manila envelope, and they would put stuff, information, pictures or whatever, and seal it and hand it to them. Like, okay, here's, like if you're watching it, you'll see me I got to do stuff with my hands. So I'll be holding on to this and go, and trying to figure out what's inside this, like this birthday card here. So that's how it would happen. Pretty crazy. It says one of the most bizarre experiments McMoneagle was involved in was a trip to Mars. During the 84 experiment, he was given a sealed envelope containing the information about the planet Mars, the time of interest being 1 million years BC. Without knowing the contents, he reported seeing very large, thin people dressed in some kind of strange clothes, as well as obelisks and pyramids. When he learned that what the envelope contained, many believed that he generally traveled back in time to Mars. Get in the comments there and Do you believe that's possible? You think we can actually travel back in time through remote viewing? Project Stargate was transferred back to the CIA in 1995, and the report was commissioned from the American Institute for Research, AIR. It concluded that remote viewing hadn't been proven to work and shouldn't be used operationally. The Stargate project was shuttered and declassified in September of the same year. So September of 95, so almost 30 years now. It's 29 that it's been, from the time of recording right here, that it's been declassified and shut down. Interesting. Says Stargate project was shuttered. By the time it was shuttered, there were only 3 remaining psychics, one of whom reportedly had a shockingly unscientific method of divination using tarot cards. In 2017, the CIA declassified 12 million pages of records that detailed previously unknown aspects of Project Stargate. The program was also featured although not by name, in the 2004 John Ronson book, The Men Who Stare at Goats. And then, of course, they made the movie. While Project Stargate was created to help with Cold War espionage, its practices remain popular in modern American society. So roughly 6 in every 10 Americans, adults, believe there's at least one new age belief. This refers to reincarnation, astrology, psychics, and the presence of spiritual energy. I'm trying to surprise us not more than that, to be honest. More and more people open up to, that kind of look, even, if you're Christian, you still believe in, spiritual energy, and, you have all kinds of course, the psychics. They've been around for a long, long time. Astrology's been around for a very long, long time. And there's lots of belief in reincarnation, You see stuff all the time, makes you go, See animals acting like humans. You see all kinds of crazy stuff that makes you sit back and go, Also reading in there, some of the Stargate experiments, when they were testing, more of the was they were getting the psychics to ask and describe what the U.S. Library of Congress looked like, or a distant lighthouse, and Stonehenge, and it said in many cases it believed to be successful. It said Stargate actually had up as many as 22 of these psychics at one time, comprising both civilian and military personnel. Of course, its operation. It said many have been recruited by Lieutenant Frederick Holmes Atwater, nicknamed Skip, who was an aide to Major General Albert Stubblebine, and claimed to have experienced his own psychic insights since his early childhood. It makes sense. Some of these who believes and had experiences made them want to look more and dig into it, It says other assignments include certain the whereabouts of Saddam Hussein during the Gulf War, gathering information about Russia's submarine capabilities, and searching for plutonium in North Korea. They're all over the place looking at stuff. Also, their methods were used to locate the Brigadier General Joseph L. Dozier, who had been kidnapped in Italy in 1981. So, they had their successes. It says while many inside the project considered it a success and believe that their findings provide a proof of effectiveness of psychic techniques for military uses, these claims were later refuted. And after the project was transferred to the CIA in 1995, the CIA convened in a panel with the American Institute of Research, the AIR, saying that the Stargate had been an expensive failure, and cited sloppy mythology as a reason for most of the supposed possible sighting. So now they're at the end, they were kind of backtracking and that like, no, that didn't happen. Um, as always, they're gonna try to go back and cover stuff up, and they don't want proof that uh, what they did and what they've seen, and uh, you know and what's the name of that? I talked about another one of my podcasts, and I can't think of the name of it. But I've listened to them before and talking about remote viewing. The podcast Metaphysical, they do remote viewing on there and talk about places they've gone and stuff like that. So if you're interested in remote viewing, I don't know the guys and nothing like that, but I've listened to them before. So that'd be something you want to check out for sure. Just trying to see, well, what do you think about this? What are your thoughts on this? Mine are kind of is anything is possible, really. We keep finding more and more things out every time we turn around of how things are, uh, and so maybe it's possible. I mean, there's there's I've said this before in the podcast. I believe in gifts, and there are many gifts. In the Bible talks about gifts of the Spirit, and there's many gifts to people. And I know sometimes people have special gifts, and they don't want to um, release them, because they're scared of, being. I would say release them. That's not the word I want. They're scared to get on there and say, hey, we we don't. Uh, I don't want to word this. You know, people look down on them. They don't want nobody to look down on them. They want, because they're like, oh, they're weird, or there's something wrong with them because of this or that, and not be that. It's just, um, we just have special gifts. Like you can, some people are better at it. I like sensing aura around people. I think, uh, you got children and stuff. They can they're more in tuned to that natural ability of um sensing good or bad, or like animals. um and that means they're right all the time and wrong all the time. There's but it seems to be they have a better click on it. And I think part of it is, as you get older, people talk, well, you get rid of your childish ways and stuff like that, um, but you still need to be able to look at things with that open mind of that child of like, man, there's so much possibilities. You know, I think that's, some people can, and why, like, with martial arts and stuff like that, you'll see people, more, um, if, artistic or ADD. I know people who are ADD and very, very good because their mind's always moving around and thinking and trying to, and so they're not focusing on that one spot. And because, you can't just sit there, like, you're in a fight. Okay, I'm gonna throw punch. Pow. All right, now what I'm going to do? You can't think it like that, because then you're going to get hit like 37 times. If, you got to be thinking of like 3-4 moves ahead, and when your mind is able to let you do that, it's an amazing thing. Like I said, I think it's possible. Anything is possible. Hopefully y'all enjoying this one. I heard, I think it was on Troubled Minds, and somebody made it in a comment. I seen it in a comment talking about um, Project Stargate, and so I was like, I'll throw it in the tab and come back to it, and that's what I usually do, So um, I hopefully y'all enjoyed this talk. It's, like I said, it's an interesting concept. You know, kind of like what Mike Strange says all the time. There's no definites here. It's maybe juice. Right here is just maybe juice right here for sure. Is it possible? It's possible. Anything's possible. Do I think I can do it? Mm-mm. I don't think I can. I don't think I can calm my mind enough to get to that point where I could focus on other worlds and other dimensions. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm doubting myself. Maybe one day I can. But hope y'all enjoyed this. Please like and share if you're still here all the way to this point, and my rambling at the last few minutes and the whole talking. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Like and share, subscribe kind of deal. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, Rumble, YouTube. Got a Facebook page now. Boot on up, did that. Even got an Instagram. Um, we're broadcasting on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. You can check us out there. Hopefully looking into some other things and maybe expanding. So maybe by the time you hear this, I've even expanded by now. Looking to get in more places and be pretty cool. So there's if you see some place that anything's possible is not there, you let me know, and I'll do my best to get it on there, because like I said, we're on several different platforms, Spreaker and all those, and so I'm trying to, if I see it, I go looking and try to put it out there, so if that's your favorite, you can get access to it. So as always, I appreciate y'all listening and to my rambling, and as always, y'all keep on keeping on, and a piece and chicken grease. Y'all be good.